hello there. Howdy, YouTube. It's me, your boy, Mr. Icarus. Mr. Icarus Magnus, professional YouTubeologist. So I hear your question. Mr. Icarus, how do I pick up on habits from my opponents in Smash Brothers Ultimate? Well, I'm very glad you asked, Mr. YouTube comment. And today I have a video where we're going to be talking about picking up on your opponent's habits as well as talking about your own. So the usual, we're going to play some matches. So let me set up a situation for you, right? You play in a best of 3 in bracket, or maybe you're just playing some friendlies or something. And game 1 is like, it's pretty close, but then game 2 you just get like swept, right? So like, what happened? Chances are they picked up on your habits and focused on them for game 2, and then you lost because maybe you didn't think about your own habits, maybe you didn't pick up on your opponent's habits. But it's important to remember that you have habits just like your opponent does. So to get into it, I have notes. Important. We're taking notes. And you should too. Take notes. Get your pencil and pen and paper, and start reading some notes. So I like to ask myself a question. I've written it as like a habit question, a question that you can just universally use in a match, right? And it should start with something small. So personally, I like to focus on what my opponent does out of shield. Okay, so do they full hop? Do they short hop? Do they use an aerial out of shield? Do they grab? Do they up smash? Personally, I don't really focus so much on my opponent rolling, but if they spot dodge out of shield a lot, I might start punishing that. Depends on how often it happens, but it's also like it's online. It's kind of tough to punish. And if that's not really your cup of tea, maybe like focusing on your opponent's ledge options. That could be really good, or how they land. You can apply these general questions. Okay, for like juggling, do they jump when you approach them in the air? Do they air dodge to the ground? Do they directional air dodge? Do they go to the ledge? All these things you can ask and find an answer for in the match. Recovery patterns as well. Do they recover high? Do they recover low? But I think the most important thing, so let's say you don't focus at all on habits right now. Okay? And that's fine. That's fine. Maybe you just don't you just haven't learned how to. Or maybe you've played for a long time, but maybe habits are just really hard for you to pick out. So what's really important right at the start is it doesn't really matter if you punish a habit. You want to just be able to find a habit, right? You just want to find like one habit. So don't overwhelm yourself. Don't ask yourself a ton of questions regarding habits. Don't just like, I want to focus on juggling, I want to focus on ledge trapping, I want to focus on what they do out of shield, I want to focus on like how they approach me, how they punish me. Don't do that. That's so much information that if you're not used to it, you're just not gonna focus on any of it, and you're gonna like give yourself like, you're gonna overwhelm yourself and give yourself like brain rot, right? So yeah, but when you start, what's important is just finding the habit, right? Recognizing that there is a habit that you can punish, right? You don't necessarily have to punish it, not right away, anyways. But as you start really seeing the habit on repeat, that's when you want to start punishing it. And so this like step 2 it's not really super important that you kill them off of an interaction, right? What's important is that you hit them for the habit. That's like the next really big step for you in developing this. The takeaway is that you've now recognized a habit from your opponent, and now you're hitting them. So a little caveat to this is, what if your opponent stops doing what you're trying to punish? You hit them once, and they're really very aware that you've punished them for it. And to that I say, well, then you need to reconsider your question. And I think you should focus more on a general question that will occur during a match. Not just focusing on, okay, this Peach, I'm only going to hit him, I'm going to punish every single T-Jolt that he throws. Because at some point he may just stop throwing T-Jolts, and now what? Now you have to focus on something else in the match, right? So, but if you focus on like juggling them, ledge trapping them, edge guarding them, your opponent will almost always be off stage at one point, so you can edge guard them. Your opponent will almost always have to go to the ledge, where you can ledge trap them. Your opponent will almost always go into the air, unless of course you just get like JV forward, in which case those situations may never occur to you because they never got hit. But then the other things wouldn't happen anyways. So I try to keep it on like a general situation in the game that will occur. So now you've recognized the habit and you've hit them for it, and you're starting to develop your punishes, and you're getting better at punishing them. So as you start developing getting larger punishes, you may want to shift the habit question, right? So you shift it. I'm going to use my habit question as an example. So I started with, what do they do out of shield? Well, now I'm going to shift my question from what do they do out of shield to how do they use their shield? And this shift in the question now allows me to include everything I mentioned before. So do they full hop out of shield? Do they grab out of shield? Do they up smash out of shield? Do they do an aerial? You know, all of those options are still included. But now that also includes, do they run up in shield, right? How do they use their shield defensively? Or aggressively in that case. Do they throw up shield after whiffing an aerial? So they whiff an aerial, and then do they immediately throw up their shield, or do they just attack? Do they shield when I approach from the air? Do they shield when I run at them? So now all of those new situations are included. So now it's like a constantly developing process. I have an example for ledge trapping. Shift it from what do they pick at the ledge most often to when I position myself like X, what do they do? Or, you know, when I move like this, when I'm moving back and forth like this, or I'm jumping, do they go for an option right away? Now that also allows you to pick up on the option that they pick the most. It allows you to find out their panic option. And it also helps you create a sequence of events to manipulate your opponent into picking something, right? So if I dash back and forth, or, okay, I throw out 2 falling nairs right at the ledge, right? And then I throw up shield. So nair, nair, shield. Do they go for a get-up attack? In which case I can punish that. And that's information that you can use later on because, okay, well, they did it for neutral air. Can I do something else and then punish them for it? Sitting in shield at the ledge to bait a roll, or a neutral get up, then up smashing to get the roll, or back airing to get the roll, or grab to get the neutral get up. But you see how like the shift in asking a very general question, what do they pick at the ledge, to something maybe a little more specific, but a little more focused to what can I do to cause them to pick an option. It includes so much more data, right? And that's really how you like develop that ability to pick out your opponent's habits. It's just the repetition of recognizing it, getting a punish, getting stronger punishes, and then eventually adding more to it once you feel that you're ready to. Just looking through, yeah, I think I'm good there. So for your own habits, right? I try to ask myself 2 questions. 1, are they dashing back to punish my approaches? And 2, are they waiting for me to air dodge? So if I recognize that they're dashing back to punish me, what I'll start doing is I'll either start overshooting, or I'll just not whiff. You know, I just like won't do an aerial. Nice air dodge. Nice air dodge, Chris. You know, and if they're waiting for me to air dodge, then okay, well then I'm just not gonna give them the air dodge, and I'm just gonna jump away, land safely, land at the ledge, something like that. To me, these 2 questions cover a lot of ground. They also tie into my opponent's habits, because if they start dashing back to whiff an approach, or for me to whiff an approach, then that's a habit that they now have, because I like started focusing on my habit, which focused on their habit. And I can punish them dashing back to punish my whiffed approach, right? You see how like the chess and the 4D chess is starting to play out? And these aren't, to me, these aren't hard things to get. They just take time to learn. They take practice. And it's not easy, you know. It's also not easy when if you try to play like online, and let's say you're playing quick play and trying to focus on these things, because that's actually where I practice a lot of these habits, or like a lot of these questions. I find it pretty easy to focus on that. And then you get like a whole bunch of data because you're playing against so many different players. But, you know, if they one and done you, like, there's nothing you can do about it. Just go to the next match, right? And if they wait on the ground to F smash your directional air dodge, just don't directional air dodge and try to reposition yourself or try to reversal. But being aware of your own habits is honestly just as important as being aware of your opponent's habits. Even though I feel like I have less to say about your own habits and way more to say about your opponent's habits. Yeah, honestly, those are the two things I really want to focus on. The key takeaways, if you want like something to take away from this video that you didn't already take away, don't ask yourself too many questions, right? You're just gonna like muddle yourself down with too much to think about. Thinking is really important during your matches, but you also want to develop like a really good autopilot. So if you can develop an autopilot that automatically looks for these habits, you know how good that is? You know how strong that is? It's crazy. But, you know, you want to start small and then expand the question. So focus on finding the habit first, then try to get your punishes on it, and then start shifting the question to cover more ground. Rinse and repeat that for whatever you want to do. Try to eventually focus on keeping a punish in your back row. Later down the line, try to focus on keeping, once you've like really got a strong sense of your habit finding questions, now you can start playing this game where you know that they have a habit, but you have not punished it yet. So then you wait until they do it. You keep that in the back of your mind, and then you wait until they're at a higher percent or until they're in a good position for you to get like a kill confirm on them. And then, I don't know how that happens, by the way. I think I've talked about this in another video. I don't know why that happens. Up B, reverse up B, and then it spikes my opponent, but then I grab the ledge. It doesn't make sense. Yeah, try to keep it, and then, you know, when they're at a higher percent, then you see the habit happen again, right? They grab out a shield when they're at a really high percent, and you're at a low percent, and you kill them for it. That's some high top level stuff that you really want to get to. But that also might involve letting them get away with the habit for a while, right? And like, patience, my friends. And then focus on how your opponent is punishing you. Ask yourself, like, the tried and true, why am I getting hit? Stop doing what's getting me hit. And, like, it's super easy to say, not always super easy to do. Yeah, you just really want to focus on why you're not getting hit, or why you're getting hit. You know, focus on like one thing that your opponent's doing that's causing you to get hit. Are they dashing back to whiff, to make you whiff an approach? Okay, then start overshooting. Start overshooting, or just position yourself and take center stage. You know, if they're running into the corner to try and whiff you, or try and cause you to whiff, and then punish it, then just take center stage. And now you have an advantage, because you have so much more space to work with. Now you can do the exact same thing back to them. Okay, but I think that's all I've got for today. Thank you guys for watching. Thanks for hanging with me today. Yeah. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.